Welcome back for another video. With a blank game week up next, it's important to make the right moves this week, as many of us are struggling to field 11 players even. So in this one, we're going to look at the top players to buy for Gameweek 26 using the projected points. Let's start with the goalkeepers. No Chelsea, Liverpool, Luton or Spurs this week who've got their match postponed in Gameweek 26. Raya and Sarr top the projections with 4 points each. Arsenal are home to Newcastle, Wolves are home to Sheffield United. We're at a point in this season where chip strategy is becoming pivotal. Although they top the table this week, the likes of Raya and Sarr have got a good chance of blanking in Gameweek 29, while the likes of Martinez, Ariel and Fleck and Dome, which is why they're projected the most points over the next 5 in that order. So if you're keeperless this week, consider one of those 3 who are guaranteed a fixture in Gameweek 29. Wolves actually have a really nice block of fixtures, which lends weight to buying Sarr. It's Sheffield United home, Newcastle away, Fulham and then Bournemouth home. So it also depends on if you're locked into free hit in Gameweek 29. If your plan is to free hit Gameweek 29, then someone like Sarr makes a lot of sense. Although he doesn't make the table this week, Neto's home to Man City. Not much to expect from that fixture. He almost certainly won't keep a clean sheet, but there's plenty of save points potential there. However, after that, Bournemouth have got Burnley away, and then a double Gameweek 28 with Sheffield United and Luton home. So Neto's actually one to consider if you want to make a keeper transfer. It seems counterintuitive bringing in someone before such a bad fixture, but over the next 3, no keeper's got more fixtures than Neto. Again, Bournemouth do have a good chance of blanking in Gameweek 29 though, so chip strategy is important here. This graphic from Ben Crellin's got the latest Gameweek 29 blank percentages, and Bournemouth have about an 84% chance of blanking. We'll know exactly who blanks and who doesn't after the FA Cup 5th round, which is played next week before the Gameweek 27 deadline. There's undeniable upside if you decide to commit to free hit 29 and then make some solid near-term transfers, such as Wolves player this week and their Bournemouth players for their Dublin 28. Moving on to defenders, and top of the projections this week is Ait-Nouri with 4.2 points. Again, the Wolves defence really depends on your strategy for Gameweek 29. If you're going to free hit, then it's the perfect opportunity to look at someone like Ait-Nouri, who plays incredibly advanced at times. And if we compare his average position by game week to Semedo, Ait-Nouri is typically more advanced. Or likewise, if we look at the shot heat map tool and Fantasy Football Scout, Ait-Nouri is popping up in better positions for his shot, so higher quality XG chances. Link below if you want to play around with the Scout members area tools. Gabriel's projected 4.1 points against Newcastle. Huge match this one. After the drama in the reverse fixture, this one's going to be unmissable. Arsenal were comfortably top for expected goals conceded this season and over the last 6 game weeks. But again, they've got a decent chance of blanking in Gameweek 29. About 23% chance of their fixture going ahead then. If you can bench Dalot in Gameweek 27 when he's got City, he's a great transfer this week with Fulham home, and then in Gameweek 28 he's got Everton home. Many of us will be making transfers this week with a view to keeping chip strategy open. You might find you want to make a transfer this week for someone that definitely plays in Gameweek 29. And if there's 1 or 2 upsets in the FA Cup, you might find that it's easy to field 11 all of a sudden. So which defenders fit that mould? West Ham haven't kept a clean sheet since Gameweek 20, so Reguilon's one to consider. He's got 2 assists in his last 2 games, he takes some set pieces and corners, and he definitely plays in Gameweek 29 against Burnley. Pau Torres was back in the 11 last match, and he had a great game against Fulham, only 4.6 mil, and he's home to Forest this week. Sadly, Villa have been riddled with injuries to the likes of Diego Carlos, Cameron Consa, and obviously Mings earlier in the season, so clean sheet potential is definitely reduced at the moment, but he could still work out. It's pretty slim pickings if your intention is to keep the options open with a Gameweek 29 defender. Alex Moreno, super attacking, he had a goal chalked off last match. A slightly riskier pick though with Digne an option for Emery. They could rotate for a match at some point. Moving on to the midfielders, and it's joint at the top again, and you might be surprised to see there's actually Hwang Hee-chan of 6.6 points along with Saka. For a lot of us, this is a game where you need to go down one of 2 paths. Path 1 is loading up on top assets like Saka and Hwang this week, and in Gameweek 27 and 28 you can load up on Bournemouth and Luton players for their double, and then free hit Gameweek 29. This maximises your points over the next few weeks, and it might save you a hit or 2 in Gameweek 29 as well, if you end up not being able to field 11 players without a hit. You can also benefit from Bournemouth's double game week if they go on to blank in 29. Meanwhile, those that are not free hitting in Gameweek 29 are going to be unable to get any Bournemouth assets in their teams. The downside of this of course is your free hit is gone, and it could come in handy later in the season in future doubles. Regardless, if you don't have Saka, he's got to be a player to target this week regardless. 6 goals in his last 4 games, 7 in his last 6 games. They do have Sheffield United in Gameweek 27 and Brentford Gameweek 28. Neto is also worth looking at for the Sheffield United fixture, who conceded 5 goals just last match. They've kept 1 clean sheet in 25 games. If we compare Hwang and Neto, this season Hwang's got 8.77 XGI, Neto's got 6.89. They have played different minutes because of injuries in the Asian Cup for Hwang, but again Hwang's 170 minutes per expected goal involvement is better, and he's on pens with Cunha injured at the moment. Bruno and Rashford are projected to do well this week with a home game against Fulham, and Garnacho for 5 mil is a good pick as well. He got his 8th attacking return of the season versus Luton. So if your strategy is to keep the options open, then which midfielders are worth buying are definitely playing Gameweek 29. The two standouts this week are Douglas Luiz and Bailey, 5.5 mil and 5.6 mil. Luiz has got 7 goals 4 assists, Bailey's got 7 goals 7 assists. There's very little separating the two. Luiz is on set pieces and penalties, but not as attacking as Bailey, who's a quality winger himself. He rarely gets the full 90, Bailey. In fact, he's played 90 once all season. He started 10 of the last 12, so gets the occasional benching as well. He's undoubtedly the more explosive pick though. He has it in his locker to get a couple of attacking returns in one match. Bowen's fallen all the way down to 7.7 mil now. West Ham have struggled without Paqueta, and we've almost forgotten what a quality pick Bowen was earlier in the season. Paqueta could be back next week. He certainly should be by Gameweek 29, so Bowen's worth a shout as well, as someone who's got Brentford this week and home to Villa in Gameweek 29, with Everton and Burnley in between. Antonio back in the 11 last match also benefits Bowen, who's more dangerous playing down the right as a winger rather than as a striker. On to the forwards then. Haaland's top this week, projected 6.8 points against Bournemouth. Perhaps surprisingly, it's quite close as far as the top 3 for captaincy. Hwang and Saka are on 6.6. So if you're looking for a massive differential captaincy, Hwang's your man. Only 3.6% owned, he's got 10 goals this season. Haaland's undeniable though, he's the safe obvious pick. If you're looking to sell Darwin, who blanks this week of course, then Watkins and Solanke are the 2 players to look at, and they are the top 2 for projected points over the next 5, ahead of Haaland even. Solanke's practically essential for the Dublin 28 with 2 home games, a double game against 2 teams fighting relegation, so make sure he's in your plans. Watkins is having a stellar season, 13 goals, 14 assists, for 27 returns and 25 starts. Guaranteed to play in 29, and he's got Forest home this week. Tony's a perfectly fine pick as well. He's got 4 goals and assists in 5 games since returning from suspension. He's got West Ham this week and Burnley in Gameweek 29, which is a really nice fixture, but he does have a couple of tougher games in between against Chelsea and Arsenal, so the fixtures favour Watkins. And lastly, Højlund needs a mention. After going 14 games without a Premier League goal, he's now got 55 points in his last 6 games, 7 goals 2 assists over that run. If you're happy to commit to the free hit in Gameweek 29, then he's an awesome pick, with Fulham home this week, and he's home to Everton in Gameweek 28. And as we saw on the blank percentages earlier, there's about a 36% chance that Man United do play in Gameweek 29. If Forest can beat Man United in the FA Cup, then Man United will definitely not blank. Thanks very much for watching. If this video was helpful, please drop it a like to show support, and make sure you're subscribing. See you soon for the next one.